What is this?
Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte.
Mmm.
Oh, do you like it? I'm not partial to desserts, but this is really good.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to you. You just made a yummy sound.
No, I didn't.
Well, if you didn't make a yummy sound and I didn't make a yummy sound.
All right, welcome to You Gotta See This Movie, Spooktacular Edition.
Woo!
This is a podcast for two guys who like to talk about movies as well as talk about the deeper things that make these stories more than just a movie. I am Michael.
And I'm Jim.
And there's Jim. And today we are going to talk about...
Young Frankenstein. Dun, dun, dun.
Awesome.
But first, we talked about also mentioning Frankenweenie.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about Frankenweenie for weeks.
I think maybe years.
Yes.
We've had this conversation
years,
for a while.
like Frankenweenie, it's great, it's funny, we got to see it, we should talk about it. And then we're like, okay, well, we can't really do it as a whole episode because it's not really that long.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I was thinking, right?
Right. And
Okay.
of course, like, I think it's long enough.
Well, I don't think it's like, not really.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so in preparation for this show, I went online to look up Frankenweenie to get some tidbits and realized that there was a 2012 animated version,
This one right here.
which I didn't know anything about. So then was wondering, were you thinking about this one or the...
I've only thought about this one.
But have you seen the live action
I
one?
have seen the live action one, which came out, in the early 80s?
That was... Oh, 84.
84,
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so this whole time, we've been talking about this amazing movie, Frankenweenie.
Frankenweenie.
But we've been talking about two different movies.
Uh-huh.
And, but you have not seen this version.
I have not seen that one. And quite frankly, I'm really not interested in seeing that one.
I don't see how you cannot be. Look at the animation.
I know, but the live action is so good.
Okay, but this adds to it.
All right, well,
All
I
right,
have
so
to
there
see
you
it.
go. I'm officially sliding that to you to watch it this October season.
Okay, but you saw
Kooky season.
the live action
I
one,
did.
and
I
it's
did.
great, right?
No. Now here's the thing. I saw
Are
that.
you comparing it to this?
Yes, I am. Because I saw that after I saw that movie. So I saw this first, and then I saw the live action, and it's lacking. This expands on it. This makes it.
Okay, but like a short story Twilight Zone art film, it's great, right?
Maybe, but I think
Okay, Shelley Duvall,
Okay, but
Daniel Stern. You got a real dog.
Christopher Lee is in this movie. He lends his
as a
voice.
puppet, not as a real person.
I'm just saying, it's really cool. Now listen, this is obviously Tim Burton. It's not like someone else came along and wanted to remake his movie.
Right.
This is the writer, the director of the original, who said, "Hey, I'm going to make it better." Just like we can agree
I'm going to make it better, or
that
I'm going
George
to do it.
Lucas has done that himself, right? We can all agree special editions are better than regular editions.
Okay. Well, I will see it. I'm actually anxious.
You should see it.
I'm excited to watch it.
So this is an important movie in the Jones household because this is our, like I think I said last week, our kickoff to Halloween season with me and the kids. Yeah. I encourage everyone to watch that this Halloween season. It's on Disney Plus, or you can just buy it. Frankenweenie.
Well, I'll probably buy it.
It's a great new kid tale on the Frankenstein story.
Okay, how would you compare this? How would you put this with like Nightmare Before Christmas?
Oh, I like this better.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this a lot better.
All right. Okay.
So I have a question for you since we're on the topic of Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite things to talk about or to watch are the Universal monsters. And as you can see, we got the action figures here. And by those monsters, I mean Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Bride of Frankenstein, Mummy, Creature, and Invisible Man. There's some others. But what is your favorite of the Universal monsters?
Oh,
I
my
guess.
favorite.
What's your favorite movie out of those?
Oh, it's Creature from the Black Lagoon. The Creature.
Okay.
Which is where they didn't give him a name, but he's just the creature.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically,
although I guess
Frankenstein's a monster.
He doesn't have a name either.
Yeah.
He's not really Frankenstein. He's
the monster.
The monster. The
Yeah.
creature, the monster, the Dracula? No,
That's his
Dracula.
name.
That's his name.
Yeah.
The Bride.
The Bride. But I think she has a name too. I think it's Elsa.
Oh.
If I'm not, I think I'm wrong.
The Mummy.
Yeah.
The Invisible.
Mummy.
The Invisible. He's got a name.
He's got a name.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Who? The Mummy?
No, the Invisible guy.
I don't know. But anyways,
yeah, no, Creature from the Black Lagoon
is your
he's
favorite.
Cool. Yeah, he's cool.
So that's your favorite monster and movie?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like, my favorite monster is the Wolfman.
Oh,
I've always liked the Wolfman. I was a Wolfman for Halloween one year.
Did you like Teen Wolf?
Actually, that's what I was. Yeah. I was actually Teen Wolf.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Teen Wolf.
So how'd you do the makeup or the?
It was just like the store. Like, I remember my grandma building me like a beard.
Yeah.
You know, and then I had like the plastic Wolfman nose, and I got the fangs that went upside down.
Oh, nice.
And then
you just surf on your buddy's van.
Yeah. But my favorite Universal Monster movie is Frankenstein.
Okay.
I just think that's just a classic tale of man versus nature.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
So in preparation for Young Frankenstein, I watched the 1931 Frankenstein.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Okay.
And the Bride of Frankenstein.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you don't really care for the Bride of Frankenstein, right?
It was okay. We watched Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And that was really good, actually, for the time period. It was pretty creepy. It had a very creepy element to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good. And the Bride of Frankenstein just got kind of silly. Like, you know, like when he's like meeting that other professor, and he brings out the little bell jars, and they have the other like little
the creature. Yeah, I forgot about those little people.
But they were just like, they weren't like creatures. Like he's a king in a costume sitting in a throne, and the ballerina.
It kind of took it to a new space, I guess. Like,
yeah, it's like this is like comedy.
Yeah.
And then Frau Blucher character, she's in there, right?
Yeah.
The what do they call her? The caretaker of the castle. She kind of runs around kind of crazy and kind of comedically crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
I like them both.
I mean, they're good, but
yeah,
I
like the more you get to understand the monster and a little bit more as far as like, you know, he wants to be human, or he wants, you know, a companion, and he was friends with a blind man and all that kind of stuff. But
so Young Frankenstein is a parody of those two movies.
Yes. So before we get into that, let's talk about just the two men behind the genius of this movie, Mel Brooks, Gene Wilder. What's your thoughts on them?
Okay, well, Mel Brooks, his humor is a bit more lowbrow, a little vulgar, you know, so you kind of know what you're getting when you watch his movies. It's funny, it's fun, but it's a little on the crude side. But Gene Wilder, you know, he's more dry and witty. He's great.
Yeah.
So them coming together with this movie is just a great combination, because Mel Brooks has his directorial comedic style, and then the screenplay done by Gene Wilder, which is far more witty and dry. And I think that just with the two of them coming together, it's just the perfect blend of comedy. I mean, this movie's just, it's like.
So I should have done my research, but I know like they did the producers together. And they did. Oh,
that's right.
Blazing Saddles together.
Yeah.
I can't remember which is all first, or, you know, what you know, what order they came in, but they were just a really good team.
Yeah.
And and just speaking of Gene Wilder, man, you're right. Like, to me, he was like the ultimate straight man. You know, because like you said, he's very dry, and I have like my personal connection to that guy. It's not a personal connection, but what I can remember in high school being placed into drama. Now, you've known me for years, and, you know, we do puppets together. We've done, you know, other things. But I'm not a very, like, I'm still a very introverted guy, and I'm not going to go out there and do stuff that it's going to embarrass me. Like, I still get embarrassed pretty easily. Mm-hmm. But I remember being in high school and then being assigned drama. Like, I didn't pick it. And then having to do things.
They picked you, they assigned drama to you?
Yeah, because because it's a whole
That's
story.
Weird.
Like, they needed to give me something, and I was late to.
Oh, okay.
Anyways.
Okay.
And there was an opening, so they said, okay, there you go. But I remember being nervous about that and having to do monologues and do all these things.
Dang.
And then I remember watching Willy Wonka and watching this. I think I watched this first, and then I watched Willy Wonka. And there was just something about him, about Gene Wilder. And again, because I get embarrassed easily, I always want to look cool. But there's something about Gene Wilder that's just cool. Like, he can pull these things off. Like, he can look ridiculous, but he does it in such a cool way.
Yeah.
But I remember being inspired by that and thinking, like, okay, I can do this if it's under, like, if I control it. And he always strikes me as like a guy that, like, when he does these movies and these characters, even though he looks ridiculous, he's 100% in control. Like, he's not being told, like, hey, this is how I want you to act stupid. He's like, no, I'm going to be my character, who I think it is, and he's in control.
Well, yeah, and that's how he plays it through the entire movie. Is he's very serious, but you're laughing at him.
But you're laughing
at the same time because he's so funny.
Yeah, it's the, like, little looks and the little things, and so for him, it helped. Like I said, it helped me to be like, okay, if I can control what I'm going to do, like, it's not embarrassing for me.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah. So that's why, like, you know, certain things, like even here at church, or, you know, different things like Santa Claus, you know, if I can do Santa Claus my way, then I can act like, you know, a moron or whatnot. But yeah, so I remember Gene Wilder really helped me get over that embarrassment of stuff. But yeah,
that's good.
And then Mel Brooks, he's always funny. First movie I ever saw from that guy was Spaceballs. So that was my intro to Mel Brooks. But specifically about Young Frankenstein, when did you see this? Like, do you remember any history? You see it in the theater? Did you?
No, I think it was, okay, so it was 1974. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we've given a synopsis of this thing yet. So let me do a little synopsis. Shoot. We kind of jumped right in.
We did.
All right. I think it was the Frankenweenie threw us, but all right. So Young Frankenstein, 1974, an American grandson of the infamous scientist, struggling to prove that his grandfather was not insane, is invited to Transylvania, where he discovers the process that reanimates a dead body. So he's the grandson of the famous Frankenstein that made the monster.
Yeah.
But he's embarrassed to be related to.
Yeah, because what is he? He says, my name's not Frankenstein. It's Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then movie in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I think that was the nutshell.
Yeah. But he eventually, you know, he finds, you know, his grandfather's books, finds that it's possible. Mm-hmm. And thinks that he can do it better.
He's got his assistant, not Igor, but Igor.
Igor, yeah. Who's, you know, I think he is like the descendant of, you know, the same one.
Yeah. Your grandfather worked for my grandfather.
Yeah. And he thinks he could do it better.
Yeah.
But the whole town is like, nah, we're not going to have this again.
No. We're not going to. Yeah.
That's another Frankenstein. They're just going to keep doing their thing. But
the cast is great. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we talked about Gene Wilder. Marty Feldman, which is funny. I can't think of any other movies that he's been in.
Yeah, but he's got a classic look.
Yeah, those buggy eyes. Yeah. Then you got Madeline Kahn. She's great. And Terry Garr. She's a hoot. Yeah, great cast. All funny people. Really funny people.
Yeah.
And this is one of those movies that I start laughing before they even start the joke. because you know what's coming, and it's not just the joke; it's the whole performance, and it's great.
One of the things, you know, I did you know segment, that all the actors in Mel Brooks, they just loved doing this movie. Like Mel Brooks has said, like Young Frankenstein is not his funniest movie, but it's his favorite movie that he's ever done. But they loved doing it, and they just had such a great time, the whole cast, that they actually added scenes so they could just keep filming together.
Oh, nice.
And do things. So, but yeah, they had a blast doing this movie, and you could tell.
Yeah,
you could tell that they had a good time. But yeah, so when did you see it?
Oh gosh, it would have had to be VHS era copy, probably off a TV. I don't know if we rented it or not, but it would have been 80s. I think my uncle recommended it. You got to see this. Is funny.
Yeah.
And when and I've watched it for years, not seeing the original Frankenstein movies, but I knew it was a parody because I kind of knew that they existed and little bits and pieces and stuff. But when you watch the originals and then you go back and watch this, it's even funnier.
Yeah.
But it was weird because he gets the abnormal brain, and I thought that was just a joke for Young Frankenstein, but actually in the original one, he gets an abnormal brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kept that part in. It's like repeating this past. But anyways, for me, I remember, because like I said, I was always into the Universal monsters, and there was like these books in the library. I forgot what they were called, but they were like a series of like these educational kid books that just talked about these monsters and these movies. Like they had a Godzilla book, a Wolfman book, a Frankenstein book, Dracula book. So I can remember being at the library and then my mom saying, well, why don't we look for the Frankenstein movie? I go downstairs and look for the movie. They didn't have it, but they did have this. And so I guess like my mom's like, oh, you got to see this movie. And
she knew it was a comedy.
She knew it was a comedy.
Okay.
She says, oh, you'll like it.
Yeah.
I took it home. I watched it, and thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm a kid, so a lot of it went, over my head, probably for good reason.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that as I was watching this, preparing for this podcast, my daughter, my oldest, kind of started liking it. She said, this is funny. And I did not expect her to think it was funny. Mm-hmm. And so she was kind of really into it. And because it's black and white and, with the way movies are today, CGI, like the way they capture kids' attention.
Yeah.
This doesn't have it, but yet there was still something special about this.
Yeah.
That can do that. And my other two youngest, they weren't having it, but my oldest was like, this is good. Yeah. This is funny. The slapstick stuff made her laugh. And stuff.
It's funny. And a lot of the jokes I thought, that I didn't really get when I was younger, because I said, this there must be more meaning behind it. Like when he's singing the song, putting on the Ritz, putting on the Ritz. Yeah. I thought that there was a joke in the way he was doing the voice that I didn't get. It's like, no, it's just funny. It's just funny because he can't speak. And that's just his voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of jokes in there that I just thought, no, it was just a simple lowbrow, dumb joke. And it's just funny stuff.
Well, I want to get into the scenes we like.
Yeah, there's too many of them.
Well, you can go first then.
Okay. I just want to say that I like all the scenes. I don't know. I couldn't pick a scene. There's just so many, I wanted to go through and count how many jokes there were in this thing. Because they're just one right after the other, right after the other. Walk this way. No, this way. Yeah.
So I guess one of the things I was reading about that movie, I guess that was the inspiration for that Aerosmith song. Just the line.
Just the line?
Yeah, just the line. He said, oh, I like that, walk this way. And I guess Steven Tyler went and wrote the song.
Wow.
I read that. I don't know if that's 100% true.
Well, at least he didn't write a song called Set a Give. Set a give.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about they finally get this monster, or it's funny because the whole beginning of the movie, he wants nothing to do with his past. He wants nothing to do with his history because it's embarrassing. It's like, my grandfather created this monster. This whole town hates me. And but again, going back, he thinks he can do it better. And they repeat almost the exact same thing, you know, like the abnormal brain, the abnormal brain.
Right.
And he's so calm. And I love when he's asking him, like, you know, come sit over here.
Yeah.
He sits down on the ground. He goes, no, you could sit there.
Right there. Yeah.
Like, is that in the script, or do you think like they just did that?
No, they like ad-libbed it. They were just so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, just like he goes, now tell me, where did you get the brain? He goes, you promise not to be mad? He goes, I promise I will not be mad.
Yeah.
But yeah, just stuff like that cracks me up.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like the sedative, like, you know, he's choking him out.
And so how's he going to tell them they're going to play charades? Yeah. 3 words. Sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they finally figure it out. But once he's finally getting his breath back, he's like, sedative. So let's go back to, you know, I think that whole "it's alive" is a very famous line in movie history, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, they did it in the first Frankenstein. They do it in this movie?
They did it or did they do it in the live action one?
I don't know.
I don't think they did.
I can't remember anything about that other than it was just, I fell asleep. Anyways.
Whoa.
Kind of did.
This really shocks me that you don't like that movie.
I might have liked it had I not watched this first.
I'm watching this tonight.
Watch this tonight.
I'm watching this tonight.
Anyways.
Okay.
But Gene Wilder's "It's Alive" is I feel like is just as iconic.
Oh yeah.
Like he even gets like the right pitch and the right, like how he says it. He delivers it really well.
Well, Universal uses that scene in a lot of their promos too.
Yeah.
Because he just did it so well.
They did it so well.
Yeah. His crazy hair and the goggles and the storm behind him. It's great. Yeah. Yeah.
His little mustache.
Yeah.
But
it's alive. Wait, what did Joel say? Oh, that's right. They do it in the Kooky Spooky, that kids show.
Yeah. Kooky Spooky.
They have this character called Professor Von Shellnuts. He's like this little
the weasel.
He's a weasel.
Yeah.
But he's like a scientist weasel. And it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And he brings this monster scarecrow to life. It's a hoot.
And he gets to say the iconic words.
It's alive.
It's alive.
It's alive. That's one you got to see.
That's one you got to see.
Definitely
Kooky
have to see.
Spooky.
Kooky Spooky Halloween. Yeah. So you know the scene when he's in the library and he's looking through all the books and he's like, oh, this is just normal books, and he has the book in his hand and he like slaps the cover closed, which is really funny. I've tried that so many times, and every time I do it, the book goes flying.
What?
You know, when you're like talking to somebody and you have a book and he's like, well, that's enough of that, and he like flips the cover and he slams it closed. It's just one of those scenes that I keep trying to recreate.
I understand, but like, what kind of position are you in that you?
I don't know, but every time I try to do it as a joke, like I have a book open and we're wrapping up something and we're finishing, and I'm like, well, that's done. Like I want to like slap the cover closed like he does.
Okay.
The book always goes flying. I don't know how he's holding it.
No, let me ask you a question.
What?
Do you walk around your house trying to set that joke up?
No, it's just every now and
You're
then.
just looking for the opportunity?
No, this has happened enough.
Okay.
Like at work or even here or at home, where I'm talking to somebody and have a book and we kind of finish the conversation, and it's a perfect opportunity because I have a book in my hand, and it's such a hilarious thing when he slaps the book cover and it closes, like, well, that's enough. And he puts the book down, right? Every single time I do that, the book goes flying, so that ruins the joke. But I can't figure out is how he's holding the book.
Looks like you knocked the book out of your hand. Yeah.
So I got to go back and figure out, did he put like stick 'em on his hand or something? Because it doesn't. Like,
movie magic.
I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
Because it's so funny.
It's funny. Just
I don't know. I'm trying to do. That's one of my. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
Do you do any Young Frankenstein like jokes? Like lines?
I feel like it's a classic gag, but to me, it's one of the funnier parts in the movie.
Okay.
You know, when he's just like, you know, the idea of, or he says, you know, no matter what you hear, do not open this door.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, you know, turn this monster to good. But if I scream, whatever, do not open the door no matter what. And they're like, okay. you know.
Maybe, yeah, but how would you do that?
I don't know.
Going into the bathroom or something, or what?
It's just more or less like, you know, like the idea of like being sure of something and then immediately changing your mind. Like, no, open the door right now.
Yeah.
You know, but just the idea of like telling my kids or whoever, you know, whatever situation, like, hey, no matter what, I'm going to do this. And then.
Do you do the werewolf one? Werewolf?
What's the werewolf one?
You know, their wolf.
Oh.
Their castle.
No, but that's a good
That's
dad
a good one,
joke.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk like that?
That's funny.
No, suit yourself. I'm easy.
Yeah.
Or walk this way. That's a classic. You've done that one, right? Where you've had somebody walk this way.
Yeah. Maybe not as much, but I know that. So I guess that's a classic gag, like that carried on to other Mel Brooks movies.
Oh, it did?
Yeah. The whole walk this way. I know it happened in Men in Tights and maybe Spaceballs, but there are movies after.
I don't think.
But I know Men in Tights was one.
But world history probably.
Oh, that's what
History
it was.
of the World.
History of the
I don't
World.
remember that one at all.
Yeah, History of the World.
Yeah.
But
That's not just guessed.
yeah, but
No,
no,
I know it's not in Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, but that is one of my, just going back, one of my favorite scenes is just the do not open this door no matter what
I do.
No matter what I do. Because
And so quickly he turned like.
Because it's like he's in charge, right?
Yeah.
He's like, he wants to be, I'm the doctor. You guys are my assistants. Listen to me. And they're like, okay, I'll listen to you. And no matter what you say.
Yeah.
And he immediately wants out.
One of my favorites is when they dig up the body and the cart's rolling down the street and then it gets out of control and the monster's hand sticking out and the constable comes up to him and he pretends it's his arm.
Right.
I was hoping that scene would be in the original one in some fashion but it wasn't. No.
Yeah. I mean, they're in the graveyard digging it up, but that's it.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would have to say, going to the constable, I don't know. I never thought his character was funny.
No.
And
with the hand thing, with the hand and the thing.
I just never. Okay. So you agree.
He wasn't that funny.
Wasn't that funny?
No.
I just kind of was like,
I appreciate it more now.
I can't understand what he's saying, which I think that was a joke.
That was funny. Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big constable fan.
No. I do like him when they're playing darts though, and he just grabs the thing and just.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Well, he's the man of the law and he's the one cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just funny.
And then darts are going out the window.
No.
And you hear the cat.
And that's all in the guard's head.
Yeah.
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 That was good. One of the other funny scenes in this movie that I love, and it's such a cool little cameo with Gene Hackman.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I loved that was in the original too, and I didn't think it would be. When he meets the blind man.
It's in Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're both like these oddities in life. Yeah. But Bride of Frankenstein is more tragic. Yeah. But yeah, this was funny.
That was a great scene. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like Frankenstein's just like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah. Cigars.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was Gene Hackman. That was another good. And it is funny. Like, I've seen this movie a lot. A lot, kind of a lot, but
you don't watch it every year for Halloween.
No, this wasn't a yearly thing for me. Okay. It might have been 15 years since I've seen this movie. No, to be honest with you.
Really?
I think the last time I remember I was like maybe living in my apartment after I got married, and I tried showing Jenny this movie, and I think that was it. I think that was the last time I saw it.
Huh.
But yeah, for some reason, I never picked up that with Gene Hackman until watching it this time around. Yeah, and he was great.
Yeah.
The wines and cigars.
Cigars. Where are you going?
I'm going to make an espresso.
Yeah. So the horse is whinny every time she says, or they say Frau Blücher. I read somewhere that's glue in German. Have you read that anywhere? I didn't look it up to verify that's why they're whinnying, because it's like Frau Glue, and that's why the horses are whinnying.
Oh, makes sense.
I had to look it up, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
But that's not because they're not just whinnying but like, I don't know. But she's funny.
That's Cloris Leachman, right?
Cloris Leachman, yeah. And then, you know, when, you know, it was you in the study. Yes. Yes. And it was you that led me. Yes. That's right. He was my. And you expect her to say, like, you know, lover or this deep, meaningful relation. It was boyfriend. Yeah. Boyfriend. It was my boyfriend. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She was funny. I guess just reading on the, you know, the making of this, I guess she got frustrated with Gene Wilder.
Really?
A bit, because I guess he, which is the opposite of what I thought. I thought this man was like really controlled and like, but he cracked himself up.
Yeah.
You know, or he laughed about everything. So they said like every scene she had to do with him was like 15 takes.
Because he kept laughing?
And he kept laughing. He kept breaking character.
Yeah.
So she would get frustrated, like, can we just get this done?
Let's do this, yeah.
Move on.
Ovaltine?
Yeah. But
a glass of warm milk. You want to give me a hand with the bags? You take the blonde, I'll take the one in the I'll take the one in the turban.
Where did that come from? I felt like that scine came out of nowhere. It is funny.
Yeah.
It is funny.
Yeah. I do use that one a lot whenever somebody says bags. You know, can you get the bag?
Yeah.
Can you pick up the bag? All right. I'll take the blonde. You take the one in the turban.
He starts biting the little mink thing on her shoulder.
Why?
He goes, knock it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. He, I guess that was another thing. Like they had to keep doing that take over and over and over because every time he bit into that thing, like hair would be all over his face. And then the other actors would just lose it.
Yeah.
And so they had to finally do it to where it was like nothing on his face.
Yeah.
But again, just them just loving making this movie. It's funny.
Funny stuff.
So it's a very subtle thing. And I think that's what this movie does so well is all like the subtle humors that if you maybe you don't see it the first time, but it's there. They just do all these little small things that are hilarious. And for some reason, the scene where, you know, they're putting the monster on show, right?
Yeah.
They're going to show everybody. And, you know, first he's like as the monster and they're like, all right, look, or, you know, have him walk forward. And he does the walk forward, walk back. And then he puts a treat in his mouth.
That's right. Yeah.
It's just like, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, just out of nowhere, just like, and they don't explain it. There's a treat.
But it's like, where'd they get the idea that he's a scientist and he's presenting his monster, but it's like this big to do with all the, you know, elites of the town and scientists. And it's like, you know, they fill an opera house and he's like on stage. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's just funny. It's, you know, he does it and then they clap and
then so that he can show like the full coordination of this reanimated body. They do a song and dance number.
Yeah.
Putting on the Ritz, which is the very first time I ever heard that song.
Really?
And I always thought that was just they made that song up in this movie. So I never knew it was like another song. I always thought it was just the Young Frankenstein song.
Yes. A sophisticated man about town.
Man about town. Yeah. And I love like his little smile.
Yeah.
Jim, do you have any movie magic for this movie?
No, I don't.
Fantastic.
Well, I know that they were making the film and production was going to do the, you know, recreate the laboratory scene. And I guess an old timey prop guy just happened to have all the original props from the 1931 Frankenstein movie.
Oh, wow. So the laboratory stuff was the same one from the...
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
How did he end up with it?
Things go missing.
Okay, so it was in the 30s, and then 30.
That's 31.
31.
Yeah.
So now you're talking about 74. He figured he was safe at that point. Anybody that would care is probably moved on.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool.
Wow, how old would he? Yeah.
Must have been a young guy.
Yeah. That's cool though. But yeah, they're great props.
So I almost wonder, like, I mean, I don't know. In a weird world, could you watch the regular Frankenstein and then could you watch Young Frankenstein as maybe a direct sequel?
Oh, because it's like the castle, right?
This is Castle. I mean, they play it up to, you know, I mean, it's a bit more funnier, but You know, it's not as gothic, but it continues the story.
You could watch the 1931 original and then immediately watch Young Frankenstein afterwards. And I think I'll do that next year.
Yeah.
Back to back. It'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So as silly as this movie is, I do believe that almost every movie we could get a gospel message out of it. And so with this goes with the idea of creation. And it's funny in this movie when he tries to bring the monster to life, or the creature, which they call him the creature in this movie. It's the monster in the original. And he tries to, like, with dignity and grace, to accept his failure, right? But he ends up like strangling the dead or the monster. It's, I'll kill you, which he's already dead. Yeah. But you see a disappointment, right?
Right.
He's trying to, like, be a scientist, because every scientist always says, like, there's no such thing as a failure. You just learn from it, right? And you move on. But, like, he takes those failures personally, which is funny. So you think about, like, with us as created beings, and just going to the creation story and Adam and Eve and eventually the fall that happens. I don't know. Do you think, like, maybe there was a disappointment in God that he had towards us? I mean, I know he didn't strangle us, but...
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, humanity is pretty rotten. Pretty rotten,
yeah. And we know we serve a God that does have emotion, that shows emotion. So there had to be so much, like, heartbreak with that. And I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing to think about, like, God, an emotional God. Because when we think of the word emotional, it's never positive.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, he had to have lamented what happened with his creation. But he continued to love us, just like, Frankenstein did with his creature, that he didn't give up, that he wanted to keep going and continue loving his creation. And I think that the line in the movie right before he goes into says, don't open the door, I'm going in there.
Yeah.
He says, I'm going, it's when he was in there and he's looking at him, he says, you're not evil, you're good. Which I think is it's really, what's the word?
Well, it encouraging him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this animated corpse, doesn't know what life is. He doesn't know. All he knows is he's surrounded by people. There's fire, freaks him out.
Yeah.
There's the blind man that does all this torture to him in the house. But so I don't know, you can't really say he's evil or good, but he takes on evil. And I think that's what's really cool about Frankenstein, really trying to convince him, no, you're not evil, you're actually good.
You're a good boy.
Yeah.
Look at that face. Look at that boyish face.
Yeah, look at that boyish face. Treats him like a dog.
Yeah.
And it worked for the most part.
Yeah.
Right? It worked, because I think that's, like, one of the things, like, the church does really well, or, what God calls us to as Christians is to speak life into people.
Right.
Don't look at the evilness. That's why, like, the Bible says, like, we don't judge things by the flesh anymore. We judge things by the Spirit. We judge things by the heart. And I think it was a good picture to see that happen in this silly, weird movie. Borderline inappropriate movie, but there's still the gospel message in it of, I see the good, you're not evil.
And then he sacrifices himself in the end.
Yeah.
To give him a little
bit of brain power.
A little bit of brain power.
Yeah. And that's interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
But and it goes with this whole idea of, like, sin. Like, I sometimes I go back and forth with us as humans, as created beings. Do we got sin nature? Are we sin by nature, or are we sin, or we got, like, divine nature? Because we are still created beings made in God's image. What comes first? Is it our divine nature or our sin nature? I mean, I can argue for both, to be honest with you. Yeah, because I was like, I know my kids, the first time they told me, they didn't do something, they're lying to me.
Yeah.
And like, I never taught my kid to lie. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
So, but yet they do a lot of good things that I don't teach them either. They just do them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Question for the philosophers.
Well, obviously we have a sin nature.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, but that's the battle between spirit and flesh.
Mm-hmm.
I think their spirit is more connected with, God, and our flesh is more connected to earth. Our flesh has the abnormal brain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Our flesh has the abnormal brain.
The abnormal brain.
Abnormal brain that's kind of keeping us from singing and having a sophisticated way of speaking. Yet in our spirit,
yeah,
we're a good boy.
We're a good boy.
Good boy.
We just need those people to recognize that and speak that into us.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, trivia time, Frankenstein edition.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm not feeling very confident this time.
I'm feeling pretty confident knowing that it took you 15 years to watch this movie again.
I know.
Wow.
And you knew what that dessert's name was called.
Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. All right.
Which for our people out there, that's Black Forest cake.
Black Forest cake, which I hope that wasn't a trivia question.
It was not.
All right. Question. So hit us with the first. Who wants to go first?
Sound engineer Joel is up with questions for us today.
Okay. So I have a funny little tangent on this. So when I went to watch the movie, to get the questions, the power went out.
Oh dang.
Yeah, I was driving home, and when I realized that the power was out and all the streets were dark and this and that, and we were supposed to record the next day, and I was like, "Oh shoot, I got to watch this movie." And so luckily I have my battery backup in my room, and so I was able to run. I have a battery backup. Okay. I was able to run my DVD player.
Oh, it was
my
enough.
TV.
It was enough for that. The TV too.
And the TV.
Dang.
And so while the power was out, it was all spooky. There's candles lit everywhere. It's all dark and quiet outside. And I'm watching Young Frankenstein, and I got my pen and paper, and I'm writing out questions.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. You had to use pen and paper.
Yeah. So it was super spooky, me coming up with these questions just in the candlelight, watching this like old, spooky movie. But yeah, that's what it was like when I watched this for this episode.
All right.
So you guys answered one question during your talk, and it was about the blind man and what he offers as Frankenstein's monsters running out.
The espresso.
He says, "Hey, wait, I was about to make
I
espresso."
kind of felt like that was going to be a question. I almost didn't bring it up.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it was. That was the only one, though. All the other ones.
All right.
Well, since I like the superior Frankenweenie, maybe I should go first.
Well, since you don't have an appreciation for the live action version of Frankenweenie, which is brilliant, by the way.
Who won last week?
I'm sure you know.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I don't know.
But I do think I let you go first last week.
All right, you go first.
All right.
You go first.
I'm going to go first.
All right.
All right.
Hit me up, Joel.
Okay, you get the time question this time.
I got a what?
A time question.
No, you can go first.
Nope.
No, I don't want that one.
And it's okay. This is one of the easy ones. We're starting with easy. Okay, so at the very, very beginning of the movie, we see a grandfather clock. What time does it show?
Oh, dang.
What?
At the very beginning of the movie, we see a grandfather clock. What time does it show?
Very beginning of the movie. 3:00. I don't know. I'm out.
The steal?
Yeah, midnight.
Yep, it's midnight.
Oh, it
was
is
midnight. I almost said midnight, but I thought it started.
Nope, it's right. Both hands are up.
I thought they were in the classroom in the beginning.
There's a quick shot of like
Remember they do a move in, and the guy's he's taking the book out of.
You see, because in the beginning you see the castle, and you see the guy take the book.
Man, I almost said midnight. That was my first. Dang it! All right.
I wonder who has the model, the model of the castle. I always think about that. Like, what an iconic piece.
Yeah.
Somebody. They probably took it home, gave it to their kids to play with, and they destroyed it.
Just destroyed it. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's rubbish now.
I could tell you stories about stuff like that. Okay.
All right, next question. Okay. So, for you.
Yeah.
The body that young Dr. Frankenstein recovered was executed. What was the method of execution?
Well, they hung him.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah.
He was hung.
You guessed that, or did you know that?
No, because when they were talking about like what kind of body they would want at the table, and then Igor sketches a picture, right?
Yeah.
It's a great scene because he hangs a picture in the fireplace, and he gives a little swing, and then they dissolve to him swinging in the
All right.
Yeah.
What's my question?
It's a nice sketch too, like cartoony.
2-1.
It kind of looked like a Hanna-Barbera kind of Frankenstein monster, right? It did, huh? Yeah. Okay.
All right, Michael. Okay, so according to Young Frankenstein, his grandfather's work, this is how he feels at the beginning of the movie. According to Young Frankenstein, his grandfather's work was quote unquote what?
Let's see, I know he's like I'm all about. Gosh, what does he say?
He says a certain thing in response to one of his students after he gets frustrated.
Just a preservation. Like, I'm not interested in death. Just a preservation of life.
Can I give you a hint?
You know?
Yeah. He's like he gets frustrated and he gets all mad. He says, "My grandfather's work was."
Oh, it was something dumb. Like, it wasn't even what it was. I don't know. Doo-doo.
Yep. My grandfather's work was doo-doo.
Yeah. Okay. 3-0.
I can't believe you didn't get that. Wow. All right.
Okay. Okay, so this is for you. Let's
do the espresso one.
Yeah.
Okay, so young Dr. Frankenstein finds his grandfather's book in his secret private library. What is the title of the book?
Was that for me?
Yeah.
Oh,
for you.
That's how I did it.
Yeah. I do remember
how I did it.
How I did it.
Yeah. That was funny.
All right, so they're pretty.
It's in English too.
Yeah,
they're pretty much hard from here on out. So just
now they're hard. Fantastic.
Well, I have like one or two mediums left, but
All
they
right.
get tough. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so right after young Dr. Frankenstein realizes his creation is alive, he starts to teach him how to walk. Igor then does something that frightens the creature. What does Igor do that scares
He lights the match.
Yeah, he lights a match to light a cigarette.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm on the board.
all right.
1-4. Here we go. Make it a comeback.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Inspector Kemp, who is sent to investigate young Dr. Frankenstein, has lost an arm and has a fake arm that aids his disability. Inspector Kemp has also lost something else, which he has an aid for despite its questionable usefulness. What is he missing and what is the aid?
That's interesting. I know what he's missing. I don't know what the aid is.
He's missing an arm and he has a fake arm. He's also missing something else and he has something else for it.
Oh, he's missing an eye.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's missing an eye.
He has a monocle.
Yes. Which he wears over his missing eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's missing an eye and he puts a monocle over his eye patch.
That's right, he does.
Let's do that, yeah.
So I know it was a monocle, but I didn't realize the.
Yeah.
You're right. What's that going to do?
What's it going to do? Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I noticed that when I rewatched and I was
funny.
like, he put it on the wrong eye. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe because he just isn't that funny. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Okay.
A riot is an ugly thing. But it's about time we had one.
All right, Michael, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so during young Frankenstein's lecture at the beginning of the movie, 3 parts of the brain are listed on the chalkboard. Name one of those parts.
Cerebellum. No.
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 You want to go for the steal?
The medulla oblongata?
Yes, that is on the chalkboard. It's I would have accepted the midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata.
Medulla oblongata.
Those are the 3 that are on the chalkboard. Okay. Nice. Okay.
I think I might concede. Because I'm getting blown out of the water at this point.
What even is the score?
I think it's 6-1.
No, you have 3, I think.
No, I've got 1.
Oh, no, you have 2.
I got 1.
You have 2.
What was the other one I answered right?
It was
Andrew, the match one.
No, the match one, and I think you had a steal.
Let's go, man. I'm on a roll here. Hit me.
Okay. During their dart game, Inspector Kemp keeps distracting young Frankenstein, and he's throwing the darts out the window. What other target what do the darts hit instead of the dartboard?
Like when they go out the window?
When they go out the window, the darts hit something else. What is it?
Come on, I know this one.
Well, we talked about it.
No, it was something that you didn't mention. They hit something that you didn't talk about.
The tires of the car.
Yes, it's the tires of the car.
Well, we did talk about that.
You did?
I think we did, yeah.
No, you only talked about it hitting the car.
The tire. Yeah.
Oh, you only mentioned
I would have had that, so that.
All right, skip that one.
That's horrible.
Okay, we'll skip it. I'll
skip that one. No point for that one.
No, doesn't matter. Does it matter?
No, if you guys talked about it, then
no, we talked about it.
Okay, Michael.
Yeah.
After following some mysterious music, young Frankenstein, Inga, and Igor find a violin and 3 pieces of evidence that it was recently used. 1, that there's a lit candle. 2, that the violin is still warm. And the 3rd piece of evidence is what?
The violin was still warm. A lit candle. Is this when they go to the blind man's? No, they don't.
No. This is this is near the beginning. They hear when they hear the mysterious music, they follow it until they finally get to the room.
Oh, that's right. That led them down there.
And there's a lit candle. The violin's still warm, and then there's one other piece of evidence that someone was there recently.
I don't know.
Come on, this is an easy one.
No, I don't know.
Oh.
Cigar?
Yeah.
Oh.
You were going to say it.
I was going to say it.
That was your cigar smoldering in.
Yeah.
It was a cigar.
We never mentioned the put the candle back scene.
No, you didn't mention that one either.
The candle back. Yeah. Why am I push as hard as you can? Yeah.
Okay, so here's a hard one. So every time Frau Blucher's name is mentioned, the horse is Winnie. How many times does this occur?
Oh, come on.
There you go.
All right, hang on.
Chance for
At the
steal.
very beginning, he says goodnight, Frau Blucher.
I actually know the answer to this.
You do, really? I'm going to have to take a guess because I can't think of every single one. I'm going to say 3.
Nope.
Steal.
Okay.
6.
Yep, he's 6 times.
Wow, how did you know that?
There's 6 times.
How could you even know that by not knowing this movie very well?
I'm into horses. What can I say?
Wow.
Yeah, I went
I'm
back
not into horses.
and I was like, oh, I wonder how many times they say it. And yeah, it's 6 times. And a funny one is when Igor pops back out.
Oh,
and
he goes, Blucher.
Yeah. He's Winnie. Okay. All right. And then I think here's my last question. which was will be the 11th question here. Okay, so you ready? This is a very hard one.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, so
Who's this for?
It's for me.
Okay.
Okay, so upon discovery of the private lab inside the castle, there are 3 preserved decaying skulls on display. Each skull has decayed for a different amount of time.
Yeah, I know this scene.
What are the 3 increments of decay? I'll accept 2.
So I know this scene, and actually 2 of those increments were actually real human skulls.
Wow.
The final one was not.
Well, no, that was Marty Feldman.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, if you count him, technically
If you
there's
count
4.
him, yeah, there's 4. Okay, yeah.
Shoot. Half dead?
No, the increments of time.
Oh. 1 month?
No.
I don't know.
Okay, you want to go for the steal?
I just need to pick one of them.
You have to guess 2. They're varying. The skulls are varying amounts of decay.
One's 3 years dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can guess one more.
1 year dead.
No.
3 months dead.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure,
So the increments were 3 years, 2 years, 6 months, and then the bonus was freshly dead. And that's when we see.
I ain't got nobody.
Okay.
Broderick. Igor.
Yeah. Well deserved. You won. By a landslide.
Landslide
By
victory.
a landslide victory.
Okay. I think you guys are tied up for the Halloween spooktacular.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I did terrible on that.
You know what I was hoping you would ask me?
What?
What was the name of the brain they actually wanted?
Oh, yeah.
I know the name.
It was just some guy.
I know the name too. I'm like, I specifically was like, I'm going to remember that because that's going to be a question. Hans Delbruck.
Hans Delbruck.
And it wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Well, but what time was it? Question.
I like to throw a time one in.
Oh, jeez.
Well,
remember who you give the time questions to.
Also, every time, like, it's a grandfather clock. It's like, ooh, look at that. You know, you don't see those very often.
All right.
Yeah.
Pardon me, boy. Is this the Transylvania station?
Wanna shine?
All right. Well, that wraps it up for our Halloween spooktacular of Young Frankenstein. Any final thoughts? And what is your ranking?
Final thoughts. The movie is a laugh a minute. Laugh a minute. So good, so funny. You know, it's funny that there's some humor in it that's adult humor, but it's rated PG.
Mm-hmm. It is rated PG.
Well, you can still say it's family friendly.
Parental guidance.
Because I think some of the stuff is just gonna go over the kids' heads anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, it's just great comedy. Great comedy. And if you're like, oh, I don't like Mel Brooks comedy, this is a little different. This one's is a good one.
No.
You got to see it. This is definitely a movie you have got.
So what's your ranking?
My ranking is I put it in at 8.2.
Oh wow!
Wow! It's not a great film.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Wow. Okay.
Well, what's your ranking then?
Yeah. So I was kind of the same opinion. It's. You say laugh a minute. I don't think it's like the most out loud laugh movie I've ever seen. Like I said, to me, the jokes are really subtle.
Yeah.
And it's a fun movie to watch. Like I always enjoy watching this movie, but it's not, to me, I'm not like constantly laughing throughout the movie. I just like watching the genius of Gene Wilder. But I think I agree with Mel Brooks when he says that it's his favorite movie, but it's not his funniest movie. And totally agree with that, what he says there. I do think it's his best movie, not his funniest. But for me, I thought I was going to be really low in my ranking and that you would throw more candy at me. Mm-hmm. But I went an 8.1, so I'm just below you.
Oh, okay. So we're right in the same. I almost went 8.6, but I kind of reassessed it. I'm like,
Yeah.
8.2. But 8's still good.
Yeah. I mean, then I might have went an 8.5 but the negative is the inspector, which I feel like is just, I don't know.
Yeah.
People thought that was funny. That just never landed with me.
Yeah. Some people probably think he's hilarious, but he's like,
yeah. But it is a movie that you got to see. Everyone should see it.
I think if you're a younger person, some of the jokes just aren't going to land. Like, "Pardon me, boy, is this the Transylvania station?" They're not going to know that that's "Pardon me, boy, that's the Chattanooga Choo Choo song." They're not going to know that reference.
Right. I don't even think I knew that reference. I just thought it was a funny thing.
Yeah. And like putting
the look on his face, he's sticking out, "Pardon me, boy."
Is that the Transylvania station?
Yeah.
Yeah, track 29.
Yeah. But.
Yeah, and then putting on the Ritz, if they don't know that song, they're not going to get that, even though it's funny.
I didn't know what that was, but I still thought that was hilarious as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a funny song.
Yeah.
What does that even mean? Putting on the Ritz.
Putting on the Ritz.
I know.
Getting dressed up is a Ritz. Isn't like the Ritz like a fancy hotel or fancy nightclub or something?
Yeah,
Putting
it is.
on the Ritz.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Just weird. All right. Well, that wraps it up. And again, thank you guys for watching. And we will appreciate if you like this sort of thing. Give us a sub and a like. It really helps us out.
And if you have any favorite scenes in the movie, please in the comments.
Yeah.
Give us your favorite Young Frankenstein moments.
All right. Well, thank you. And I'm excited to go some trick-or-treating.